What a collab, John. What a collab. You know, I'm getting Jon and Joe Words of Wisdom vibes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We haven't even started yet, but I'm getting those vibes already.
I've never heard of that in my life.
Never? Never. Wow. If you check on SoundCloud, something's there called Jon and Joe. There's even an Instagram. I think there's even a Twitter, too.
Tweet.
We tweet. Yeah. Yeah, I've been watching... I know I told you earlier, but The Last of Us is actually pretty good.
Tried to tell you, man, like when it first happened, but you ain't want to listen to me. You're talking about I look too scary.
Well, yeah, man. His daughter died in the first episode. Spoilers.
You just ruined it for like 20,000 people out there.
Who didn't watch the first episode? Sure.
20,000.
But man, that shit hit. I'm just enjoying the storytelling. I think I remember you told me that, you know, I was like, oh, is it a zombie show? It's like, yeah, but not really. It's more of a character story-driven show. And it shows. It's like blending well. And I was really surprised with that episode 3 with Bill and Frank. I was very, very surprised with the episode.
That was the episode I saw, and I was like, this needs Oscar, whatever trophy awards goes with TV shows. It needs it.
I'm not familiar with the other guy's work. I am familiar with I think he's from Parks and Rec, Nick Oberman. I think that's his name.
Yep.
First of all, it shocked me that they were gay, like in the show. They just threw me off. Not in a bad way, just like I didn't expect that. You know, this guy's hardened. You know, he has his bunker and everything. He's like, I don't want anybody here. And then out of nowhere, he's like, you know, I like men. It's not wrong. It's just like it throws you off. Like, oh wow, I thought this guy would be like, all right, it's time to go, type of stuff. You know. And then they, mind you, they got into it real quick. I was like, oh, you just skipped everything. Must have been wine, but I just enjoyed the entire storytelling of that episode. The from, you know, him having hardened defenses in the beginning, like his house, and he fortified everything, to them breaking down the walls, and then, you know, him meeting Frank, right? Because he was Bill, right?
Yes.
He was meeting Frank, and then later on they met Tess, and then Joel, and like, you know, even though they're there for a little bit, it has huge significance later on in the episode. You know, cause if they weren't there, if they would never have met them, Joe would have never thought about that when he was taking Ellie out the city as a backup plan. You know, like where do we go, type of stuff. So like that played well. All the equipment and stuff he left behind was great, but their story was, first of all, when Joe told him, "Hey man, if I was you, I'll fix that gate up and everything, because I'll come at night." And I was like, yo, that's crazy. Because then when they did come at night, it was raining. They made sure it was thundering. It was very dark. And the dude was like, nah, don't worry, we'll be all right. And he wasn't playing. He was not playing. He was all right. He had traps everywhere. It's just, it was amazing. The fire, the electrical gates, even some like shotguns that was placed around like tripwire. And he held him down. I thought he died right there on the table.
That was supposed to make you, you know, that was the gotcha moment kind of thing. It was especially when they transitioned back to what would have been the present day, and it was him pushing Frank in a wheelchair.
I thought it was the other way. I thought he got paralyzed from the shot, that he was stuck there, because it was a far out shot, and you couldn't really tell who was who sitting on the table and sitting there and pushing until they got to the next shot. And I was like, wow, that's great storytelling. This is amazing storytelling. And I thought that Bill was going to be there when Joe gets there. But he been dousing the entire wine from the beginning. I was like, yo, like it shocked me, honestly. You know, I didn't think he would take that route. I thought he was like, okay, you're going to die. But then when he said that line, listen, I'm old, I'm satisfied, I was like, oh. It hit the heartstrings. But that episode alone should, like, if they have like awards for like episodes, not like the whole series, that should be considered as one. Because I don't know the other guy. I'm not familiar with his work, but he killed it too. You know, and then I think he had cancer, right? That's what happened at the end.
I believe so, because they couldn't find a doctor.
And he said even if we did find a doctor, there was no cure even before the world became all messed up. So I was just assuming it was it was that.
I mean, I know last time I was here, I know me and Anthony touched upon a little bit, but the only issue I had really with that episode was, when he got shot, I was like, so my man is survival guy, hardcore, and he just standing in the middle of the street, not taking cover, bucking shots though. Like in that one moment, I'm just like, come on, like that's the one thing I can't believe.
You know what, bro? I thought about that scene and I said, okay, John has a point. Like, but then again, he had night on his side. They couldn't see him through the fire. The fire was all in their face. I get it though, but he was technically in the dark. When you're looking at that far range, and he was able to see them. He didn't have to worry about dealing with the flames blocking their reticles or whatever. But I do get your point though. I thought he was like in the window just shooting out, or one of the houses nearby, not in the middle of Main Street.
They're just standing in the street, in the middle of the street, like, yo, I'm right here. Right here. Like, you want, come get me. I'm right here, boy.
And I'm like, he was like, I have something to protect. I'm like, you wouldn't like have a car in the middle, just like block, ping, like what Joe did when they went to the Kansas City. Like, come on, he hid behind the car. Joe's always using cover. He's not gonna be out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
But it was beautiful though. Like the letter at the end, he was like, man, if you come here. He's like, we're the type of guys that, man, people would get out of our fucking ways. We're going to kill the motherfuckers because we have something to protect. And it kind of just stamped that ideal that Joe was kept pushing away. Like, listen, like, you got to protect her. This is kind of your purpose. And he was like, man, you just cargo. I'm just dropping you off for a purpose to find my brother, X, Y, and Z. But it's like, you start seeing, I know you saw the show already, but you start seeing his change of mindset and his feelings towards Ellie throughout. I'm in episode 6, I think now. Yeah, I started today. I just started. I was like, let me watch this. My coworker was telling you guys were telling me. My coworker was like, you gotta watch this. I was like, oh, if you're saying this, then because I know how my coworker is, and he's like, okay, if you're saying this must be a high reason. So then I was like, I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good. This is really good.
Definitely best video game adaptation.
Oh yeah, there's no argument there. There's nothing else. Everything else is just pales in comparison. Everything else is just like, this is what you do a true adaptation. Take what you got and add on. And then even I was reading about Bill and Frank. Sorry, that wasn't in the game, but it was in the game in notes and side things. Like, it was there. They just made it bigger in a story.
You haven't played the game?
I have not played the game. No.
So what I like is it's not a 1-for-1 adaptation. It's like, I mean, if we had another term that's above my knowledge right now, but I guess you can say it's a firm kind of loose adaptation in a way. So they take the main important ingredients to the story is there, but the outside stuff to highlight that, they change things here and there. So spoilers for the people who haven't played the game. I mean, if you haven't played the game at this point in time, how many remakes
already a remaster? Yeah, part 2 already came out.
So Bill and Frank, like you said in the game, it's not. Oh, sorry. It's not handled in that way. When we meet Bill is a different type of survivalist. It's just Bill you meet. And then when you find Frank in the game, Frank is already dead. Frank committed suicide because he got bitten. But like you said, it's not really out front said to you. Like through notes and stuff, it's implied, but it's not outright said. So in the show, when you get to that point, it's just, hey, they did a completely different interpretation, and it's like this was their relationship, in the show. It is different from the game, because in the game they separated on different circumstances. Like if you remember, I believe after they initially get together, when you get to the point of, I think Frank is walking out the house and he's like, I'm sick of your shit, Bill.
Yeah,
like,
he wants to change the area up, clean it up, make it feel homey.
Like you would think, like right there for a video game player like myself, that's the division that they had to make them separate, and that's the direction I thought they were going in to highlight that story. But to see they did a different direction, and they do that with several different things that happen in the game going to the show, and I like it. And there are people out there who like, oh my god, it needs to be a 1-for-1 exactly. Like, I don't really care. Like I said, the most important part is the relationship between Joel and Ellie. As long as they have at least that covered for me, I really could care less about what they do on the outside, as long as it's not they going way out there and doing something crazy. So
yeah, there's certain things that you come on. We're talking about a video game that has technically no limit on how long the gameplay is, you know, because you got to consider gameplay, story elements, and etc. And a game that's typically like 10, 11 hours is pretty good, or 15 or 20, whatever. You can't really do that for a TV show, especially if they got series to go, seasons to go. And there's a lot of things you can do in video games that's forgiving that you can't really do in the show. Like, the one part that I thought was funny, and I was like, oh man, this is definitely a video game trope. When it was them three, Tess, Joe, and Ellie, I think they went to when they first entered, I forget that place, before they met the Clickers. And then Tess pushed Ellie because their route just got closed down because, like, the roof was caving in. Yeah, debris. And I was like, oh, this is video game stuff because you can never turn back at this point. You already passed your save point. You can't go back. I was like, this is video game 101. When you're like, oh, shit, I definitely can't go back now. I got to keep pushing forward. I was like, quick. So the Clickers, before their heads are taken away, they can use their eyes to see.
The Clickers are, so you have your
okay,
stages.
You're right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, there's levels of infection. So when you have your runners first, which is people who pretty much just get bit, they run around. The Clickers are people who are runners that have been infected for a long time, so the growth grows over their eyes, and at that point is echolocation. That's how I was explaining in the video game. Yes. They work like a bat. And then after the Clickers, you get to bloaters, which I don't know.
That big dude came out from the ground, was like,
Yep. So he's basically got armor plates all over his body, and he can take some of those and throw them at you like a bomb, like a gas bomb.
Nasty, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah, okay. Like, I love the way they handled that in the show. That moment was amazing.
So the first ones can use their eyes, right?
Yeah, those are runners. Okay. Basically, you just got bit. You fresh out.
When Tess, she was standing there, I was like, oh, I thought it was echolocation, but they just like looked at her and just kept walking. They gave her the kiss of death, and she blew everybody up. That was pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the show. I'm at the point right now where they just made it to a snow area. I didn't say it was Wyoming or not. They meet this couple, this old lady who's sitting in a chair, and she's like, yeah, I made him soup. It's like, what else? He's like, yeah, what else I'm going to do? Like, the gun's all the way over there. I'm not going to walk over there. I'd rather make him soup. He's not going to kill me. That's exactly where I'm at. I guess that's the beginning of episode 6, maybe. I think.
Got you.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it through and through. I really despise the people who was giving shit to the child actress of Ellie. I think Bella Ramsey. Ramsey. Cute as her last name. Yeah, she's killing it. I love her in the show. I don't know if she curses that much in the game.
Yeah, she does.
Okay. But it makes sense with her character because it's like she was grown in the incubator. She's not exposed to the outside world, and she's rebelling, and it all makes sense. Everything's making sense. Like each body's character motivations, the plot is going like they. We can move on from this. It's just when HBO Max does a show, they do it right. Like for me, from the shows I have watched from HBO Max, they have not been a miss. From the ones that I have watched, I'm sure there's other ones that are like, oh, this is pretty good. But from what I have watched, like, this show, the Game of Thrones, both renditions, and show I was watching Tokyo. Oh gosh, Tokyo Vice. It's like a detective show. They all hit, man. Like HBO just, when it comes to TV shows, they just fucking hit it off the mark. I don't know what it is. You can always expect quality from them. And if
that's what when it comes to like The Last of Us, I was of opinion. I don't remember if I said this in the last time, but I'm of opinion that the Last of Us video game is perfect. Was perfectly tailor made to become a show. And
Okay.
also initially I was hyped for it. I believe that in the hands of HBO, I didn't think it was going to fail. Like if it was somebody else, I would have been like,
Like
but
Netflix or One
yeah.
Piece.
Exactly. But with HBO, it was just like, oh, you know what? I kind of believe they'll do a faithful adaptation of the show. Like, I don't really think that's gonna fail. Because in our world, like the Last of Us is probably like, I don't know, like arguably one of the like greatest video games of all time in that little category. Ooh.
Okay.
So when like I said, when it was announced, it was just like, yeah, my only like issue at the time was like when they announced like castings, like when I saw Pedro Pascal as Joel,
Yeah.
initially I've never doubted the acting ability of Pedro Pascal, but when you see Joel, I don't see Joel and Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
So it was just like I never really ever doubted his acting ability, but I never like saw him as Joel until I saw the show. When I saw the show and saw him, I was like, you know what, I'm buying it.
Okay.
Forget it. But prior to that, I was just like, I feel like they could have cast somebody else as Joel, but I'm pretty sure Pedro's gonna do a good job because I think at that point in time that he was just kind of more popping up all over the place. Because I remember him Game of Thrones. That's my first time seeing him.
Yeah.
And then
Same here.
Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's also in a Netflix movie called Triple Frontier. It's one of my favorite movies. I just gotta shout that out. I love it. It's one of those movies I can watch over and over. He's in it. A lot of other people are in that movie. It's pretty good. Yeah, and Bella Ramsey, also Game of Thrones too.
Mm-hmm.
Both Game of Thrones alum. I'm excited. I'm excited to finish the show. They're doing the whole zombie thing right. They did it so well that it got me fucking anxious. Like, yo, I gotta prepare. I gotta be. Like he said, I'm not a prepper. I'm a survivalist. I gotta become a survivalist.
There's one thing that I had like throughout the issue of the show. It's the only one thing I had a problem with. In the show, they defined what the infection was, and
didn't he say?
It happened through like
he's talking about the name of the virus, like
no, not the name. It was called cordyceps in the game. That's what it's called. But they defined how it happened in the show, which was I believe it was when the fungus Joe got into. It? Yeah, he explained it to Elliot what happened, and they said they got in through like flour stuff like that. Now
I wait till you finish because I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like in the game. They never defined it. It just happened. Nobody knew what happened. Nobody understood what happened. All that. And when it came to the show and they actually said this is what happened, I was turned off by a little bit because I'm like, if it got into like the flour and all that stuff, baking goods, that's how you're saying it. I always kind of felt this. So you're telling me like for that. The day that outbreak happened, it was only that day that the fungus got into. So, because you're telling me nobody ate wheat, all that stuff after this day, you would think, stuff is still infected if it got into, like the supply chain and all that.
He did explain, well, how I guess because it's fresher for me. He explained that everybody ate it, but it depends on the quantity. That's how he said it. Because some people had more of it than others, which made me think in a little outspective. Is that even a word? Outspective? It made me look outside the box of the show. And please excuse my my hat here. But he mentioned it like, okay, it something got infected. It was probably something that was a basic food group like sugar, I think he said, or flour, and everybody was consuming it, right? But those who were infected took it more, like they had more quantities of it over and over. And I'm like, damn. Like, this show came out in a perfect time, so to speak, because we already under a pandemic, right? And then you talking about what substance they will always say in the show, right? Mm-hmm. Sugar. Let's say, I think it was sugar or flour. But those two, if you take a high amount of it, it can cause problems for you, right? Well, and I'm like, wait a second. If I apply that idea to today's world, I'm like, well, are you trying to tell me something? That's how I saw it. Not to put the mindset, but it's like this hits the nose too well.
But see, here's all the things that happened in episode 1 that get you right. So episode 1, or when the episode after they define, oh yeah, it was in the like flour and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
On that specific day, Joel happened to not get infected because he just so happened to run out of pancake mix. His daughter was wanted to make pancakes that morning.
That's true, which also includes sugar.
Yep.
Whatever, yeah.
Second thing, she went to the neighbor's house to go help make cookies. And on that day, she happened to not want to eat the cookies because they made oatmeal cookies and not chocolate cookies.
Raisins, yeah.
Exactly. And then you saw the grandmother. I think you brought up how creepy she was.
Bro,
she was already infected in the corner. So, yep. So it's like those yeah, it's like those coincidences happen, and that's why I say I'm pretty sure we didn't determine like that day that this is what happened, and that's why I'm like in the immediate aftermath, because it's also, I think Joel said that he was on some type of diet that didn't allow him to have it, but I took it in the way that it came off was like he said it in a joking way just so he didn't have to go to the neighbor's house.
But, yeah, he has something called a latica or something, some weird A word or something.
So even when it came down to his brother Tommy, it's like all the people who survived,
did get infected,
it's like it makes me think like, so you're telling me you didn't have flour for like after that, you just didn't decide to have flour if that was what we're claiming is the infection. And I'm like, flour is something that we use in almost everything. So I mean, I don't think everybody's on the gluten-free fad that at that time, and especially another difference they did from the game to the show is that they moved the years back. So I think in the show it's 2012 that the infection happened.
No, 2003.
There you go.
Because it was 20 years later, which was 2023.
Yeah, in the game it was ahead. So I think it was 2014 or 2013 that happened.
But you see the point why do it at the time, and then where they're currently at is 2023, like the end of the world type of stuff. Why you gotta play with people's emotions like that? It's come on. I could have easily changed it. Well, you already
even like that very opening sequence with the scientist that was debating, and he was like, "Oh, it's a fungus." I'm like, that's kind of scary, because I like the way he explained it here is like is a believable thing that could really happen. Like
what is Greta Thunberg talking about all the time? Climate change. The world's just a little bit warmer, and I'm like, yo, this is like that whole movie again, Don't Look Up type of thing. It's like you don't want to put your hat on, but it's like this is kind of weird.
And the way you were saying is like, oh yeah, it'll adapt. I'm like, I was like, see, I like this better in the game when it was like it's a cordyceps infection, and we left it like, yeah, it's a real world thing. We didn't get no explanation. Now we get to the show, they're like, yeah, but if this happened, and this happened,
which is like, currently technically happening. And like, if you just eat that stuff just over and over and over, it's like, hey, your resilience, your acceptability to is a little bit higher than most. It's like, yeah, like that first episode, honestly, I was in anxiety city. It wasn't even because I already knew his daughter was gonna get shot, but just everything leading up, her going to the house with the grandmother, and then the runners, like you said, looking up, and then she's running away in the dog, and I was like, oh my god, is this anxiety city? And then the airplane falls, and like, where's Tommy at this point? And it's like, then they show 20 years later in the same episode. It's like, oh my god! And then how life looks afterwards is crazy. I'm glad they kind of figured something out of life, even though it was bad in the quarantine zone. But it's better than being. But that's another thing. It's not like Walking Dead when you can be out there. It's like, nah, this is so remote. They're not gonna be here. Like they didn't have a worry of the infected, and it made sense. I was like, oh, the least amount of people out here reduces the chances of infected. But it doesn't reduce the fact of, like Joe said, people, like crazy people. Just people who want to do whatever, ravagers and raiders or whatever, which is an interesting take. But it also puts the viewer in a state of mind of like, oh, okay, they're in the forest, they're technically safe. I mean, you should always keep your guard up, but it's not like The Walking Dead, like, oh shit, a random herd out of nowhere, just walking around together, And then when this is my last point, but when they all came out from the ground, I saw that clip on before it came out. I just thought it was like being created on the ground. But when I found out the government just threw all the motherfuckers in the basement and like, I'm gonna leave you out there, and then they was like, Henry was like, no, they clear them out, and I'm thinking like, nah, I don't think so. But they got out. Like the scene just cut real quick. Like, oh, they already out. I was like, oh, no conflict. Okay. And then just the ground is like, boom. It must have been the bomb that attracted them to go there. It must have been.
Yeah, because at that point it was mostly all clickers coming out of the hole, all out of the hole. So when it blew up and the thing caved in, that's what led them there.
Yeah, amazing show. 10 out of 10 for right now. I don't care. People talking about it's woke or whatever. Man, just relax. It's a good show.
Oh yeah, definitely suggested. Definitely recommend it.
There's one thing though. Ellie, is she gay in the show? I mean, in the movie. I mean, in the game.
Well, you'll find out.
Oh, that's something. No, I know she kisses a girl.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking.
She is gay or lesbian.
In the game.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to know if that was like a change they did for the show or just like that source material. That's all. All right, cool. That is 10 out of 10. Recommended to watch. Definitely watch it. Pretty good. I love it. HBO Max. Does not miss. So, gaming. If you want to go there.
Sure. So,
what is your gripe?
It's not really a gripe. It was. So it seems like after it's probably been more than a year at this point, the Microsoft and Activision Blizzard deal is settling down and coming together. For the people that don't know, it's been stuck in court with the CMA, which is the across the pond people. European government.
European?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the issue at hand was.
Sorry, I'm just like, why does that matter? They're both American companies, but okay.
That's been a gripe of people as well. Like, why is it such a serious thing? But the thing here has been competition. I guess how Microsoft becoming a monopoly, and that's what's been under a microscope. But it only became that way because Sony has been complaining to the CMA and all the big boards that this needs to be approved by about how it's not fair to them, because if Microsoft it's been several different things they've come out and said, which is stupid, but mainly if Microsoft has it, then they're going to degrade the quality of Call of Duty when it comes to our platforms. They say how they're going to make it exclusive to Microsoft, and they haven't really said it out loud, but they don't want it to be on Game Pass, stuff like that. So right now, it seems like all of this is backfiring on Sony because they keep saying all this stuff, but Microsoft's track record with the last big purchase they made in I think it was King. King was a part of that. King and
King?
Mojang. Yeah, not King. Mojang. That's the one I meant. Mojang with Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
And they're saying how we've had, as an example of how what the plan is, we're not going to pull it away from platforms because we will lose money if we pull it away from platforms, and but it's just been funny, like you got your Sony fanboys just out there keep saying, oh, they're gonna they can't have it because they're gonna make it exclusive, but then nobody is now becoming like backfire on Sony because we're going in the way of, you guys have been for the longest time, Sony, buying exclusivity to keep games off of Microsoft consoles, and y'all complaining about Microsoft having the ability to take away Call of Duty, and they make it seem like Call of Duty is the only shooting game out there. Like they can't make they can't make a game themselves, stuff like that. They talk about they're gonna lose revenue because of Call of Duty, all that stuff. So all this stuff in court has been becoming funny, but it seems like this the parts that's been the complicated part with Sony, and especially since at the time the CMA seemed to be catering to Sony, but Microsoft kind of got lawyers involved and stuff and made them read and hey, put numbers out there, all that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where we stand today with it. It's not officially closed yet, but it seems like we're getting close to it.
It makes no sense because Sony should not be talking, because every time Call of Duty comes out or Destiny, they have a whole year of exclusivity on anything. The game coming out, on certain skins or maps. So it's like, you complain about becoming like Xbox might becoming a monopoly of just taking things away, but you've been doing this for games that are on both platforms, and you have favoritism when it comes to I think Street Fighter as well was out on PlayStation before it even came to Xbox for a whole year.
Street Fighter 5 was exclusive to PlayStation. I'm not sure about 6, but 5 was exclusive to PlayStation.
But even that, look at that example. They want to talk about somebody else, but you have a track history of doing exactly the thing that you're complaining about, even if it's right a minor scale. Look at that. Which one?
16, the new one that's coming out. That's exclusive. It hasn't been clarified yet, but as of today, it seems like it's exclusive to PlayStation.
Look at that. Kingdom Hearts would have also only been a PlayStation if it wasn't for, I think, money issues. I would think. Because then it came out also on Xbox, and then the final mix. I know the smaller stuff, but it's the principle. It's still the principle. And then, I was looking into it, it's like, even if Microsoft does become, they get Activision and Activision Blizzard, or whatever, but they still will be right behind Sony and Tencent. It's not like they're going to take over. I mean, maybe they might think in 10 years on the line, like, wait, a lot of people are moving towards the Xbox line. They're not really staying with the PlayStation thing, or we're losing stuff, or the multiplayer aspect is only on the Xbox side. I don't know. But, or not even Xbox, the PC side, because Microsoft has that. That's a huge thing on their side as well. Steam, I think it's Steam or Steam Last. They're looking pretty competitive, even for that small mobile stuff they have. But I don't know. I the way I see it, they're just mad because Microsoft was able to sign this deal and they wasn't even able to do that. Like you said, you have Destiny, you have other games that you can make. Like, why everyone is so stuck on Call of Duty because it's the most popular one? Make something that's good. Titanfall at one point was, I mean, I don't know who really, I think it was a Xbox thing, but even so, it was able to take away people who play Call of Duty, into Titanfall. If you actually put the thought and effort into making a quality game, you can be a competition, not make a clone like Call of Duty and just add little features here and there like Tom Clancy was trying to do, or whatever. Was it Tom Clancy? Remember that company, they was trying to do their own multiplayer take of it. It was Tom Clancy, that Future Soldier, not Future
Ghost Recon?
Ghost Recon, thank you. But they were doing their own multiplayer, remember? And they just scrapped the whole game. We was like, dude, this looks horrible. It was like a 5v5.
Yeah. I think it was called Defiant X Cross
something
Defiant,
like that. Like, everybody wants to be the Call of Duty clone, but nobody wants to make something that's actually different. Like, we all know there's going to be first-person shooters. There's certain core elements that you just can't take away from the game. But like Overwatch is, I think it's first person.
Sony has a backlog of games that they just stopped making. Like, I don't know if people remember Resistance. That was when PS3, I think PS3 first came out, was one of the launch titles. I thought that was a good game series. They have Killzone.
Another
good game series.
They killed that.
I
feel like Red Dawn is one of them, or Red Faction.
Red Faction was an exclusive.
No, that was okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the developer, but that wasn't exclusive to Sony. But yeah, they have like a whole backlog of games they can go back to, and with Call of Duty, it's funny because it's like because of Sony specifically, it's like Activision only ever made Call of Duty. Like, Activision has so many other titles in their backlog that they can talk about.
Sledgehammer, Treyarch,
World of Warcraft,
Infinity War. Oh, I'm just talking about different companies, but yeah, World of Warcraft, man.
World of Warcraft is in that, and that's I'm like,
but that's a PC more thing. That's kind of why it leans that.
But you got to think about it. If Xbox got World of Warcraft, it's going to be inevitable that it becomes an Xbox game. And I'm pretty sure
they did that with Neverwinter. Yep. It's a free game. Neverwinter is a free MMO game, and it runs pretty well. On
before Sony bought Destiny, you could imagine that happening what Destiny was doing with Game Pass. They put all their content on Game Pass, and it was just like, hey, the new stuff is what you got to buy. So I can imagine with World of Warcraft, if they bought it, they're probably gonna do something similar. Hey, we're going to give all the DLC on Game Pass, whatever, up until a certain point, but all the content after that, you got to pay for. And that's a big deal. you know. But it's certainly going to be fun seeing, like Xbox own game Call of Duty on PlayStation platforms with the logo and everything.
Wait. Oh, like it's exclusive for Xbox. We're just sharing it over there, type of stuff.
Like when they like technically there's another game MLB The Show that's made by PlayStation Studios in some way, and that's on Xbox. So when you fire it up, it shows that on Xbox.
Oh yeah, it says PlayStation Studios.
Yeah,
I never paid attention to that. Like that beginning part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's just been like crazy with all the court things that's been going on, over like the last couple months, and it just seemed like, what, I feel like it's a good time to talk about it. Seeing this, it finally seems like we're getting a decision on which way this is going to sway.
Look at this. Sony lashes out at government for not shutting down Microsoft Activision deal. The PlayStation maker calls UK's regulator reversal irrational. Just sound like you just mad you lost. That's what it really sounds like. But CMA was the UK Competition and Markets Authority. Yeah.
Now, another thing out there that's happened is within the government, the U.S. government, is that they took issue with Sony being a Japanese company and meddling in U.S. affairs, basically, and they're going now to Japan and saying, how is it that you allow Sony to do what it's doing in terms of the stranglehold it has on the market? Because like Microsoft can't really do anything in Japan, so now that's something sort of kind of being looked at.
Very interesting here.
And people are saying, I don't understand how politics works, so I'm gonna start with that. But people are saying
none of us does.
the specific senator that's bringing it up, she has like I think 500,000 in donations from Microsoft, but this is over a course I think of like 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying like because she specifically brought it up, Microsoft was like, "Hey, look, I need you to look at this for me." Like,
I see it here. I'm trying to like scroll down real quick, but yeah, I see it here. U.S. Congress members accuse Sony of anti-competitive tactics against Xbox in Japan. That's crazy. Ambassador Catherine Tai and the U.S. Senator of Commerce Gina Raimondo. Yes. Today we write to bring your attention to the imbalanced Japanese video game market, which we are concerned may be a result of discriminatory trade practice that could violate the spirit of the U.S. Japan Digital Trade Agreement. That's very interesting. That Microsoft had attained a negligible 2% share of its high-end console market since it began selling in Japan in 2002. Sorry, the beer's hitting. That's interesting though. They're like, oh, you want to come after us for our Activision deal? You know what? I don't see any Xboxes over there or anything Microsoft related. That's crazy. Good catch on that, bro.
And so it's seeming like somehow this can have a greater effect on the gaming space. Like I've seen somebody as far as saying like if the government truly like decided to get involved, we can see something as drastic as no more exclusive games. So,
I mean, the government getting involved, they might use this Sony thing and make a whole nother bill like they're doing for TikTok. That whole restrict bill is sounding crazy, bro. Like, I don't know if you've been paying attention to it a little bit.
All I've been seeing is TikTok is banned. That's all I keep seeing.
TikTok is not banned, so to speak. I mean, certain companies are just saying like, hey, because they can do that. That's my own company. Like, you can't use TikTok on your phone here, whatever, X, Y, and Z, or government officials on their phone. But the Restrict Act, which is what they're calling it, it doesn't even say to take away, to ban TikTok. But what it's saying is to control or to monitor any foreign apps and stuff like that. People using VPNs to access the apps, just using VPNs in general. Like, it feels like what they're calling it, the Patriot Act 2.0, but for the internet world. They can come in and just say, no, you can't use this app, you can't use it, and you get fined and or jailed for like 5 years, something like that. So it's like they calling the TikTok ban, but it has nothing to do with TikTok, and they just want to pass a whole bunch of things in the background. Yeah, it's very interesting, you know. So if the government,
it's a facade.
It is a facade. I mean,
They're
a lot.
using it as cover.
Yeah, the good thing about it is that a lot of people, at least in politics or whatever, and just social media in general, they're paying attention to these bills that's coming out and just not letting things get passed. Certain politicians are actually paying attention. I'm not saying that maybe they're doing that and then something else is being passed in the background, or they're just doing it for, it's just like a headline, like, oh, let's rile them up type of thing. We know it's not gonna pass, but let's rile them up, But yeah, man, it's not scary, but it's stupid. I mean, it's scary, but it's stupid at the same time. Yeah. On to pressing news. I don't know what next. The Last of Us now.
Well. So so another thing that happened in gaming news is it seems like we're getting the Swan Songs E3.
I thought they canceled that because of like no one's showing up, like turnout.
Turnout rate in terms of the big players,
yes,
like Sony, Microsoft, all them people. But because of the way it's happening, it seems like we're probably never going to get E3 again. Because everybody.
You said song dance. I thought you meant like a swan song.
Swan song. I mean, goodbye.
Oh, so you tell me that's like the movie Black Swan is like goodbye? Yeah,
a swan when it's a swan song, it's goodbye.
I didn't know that. I thought you were trying to say a comeback. That's why I'm way off. Okay.
No. So it looks like over the course since COVID, Nintendo was, I think, the very first probably to really back out of it, and they always done their own event, Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
But it seems like everybody started to do that as well, especially during COVID. So since most of the key players that used to make up E3, especially this year, is not taking part, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Ubisoft just backed out.
I think they were the last ones, right? Ubisoft.
Yeah, they were the last ones before. It was formally announced that this year was canceled. They're saying that they hope to be back next year, but it's just seeing as how everybody's doing something on their own. It just feels like it's not coming back. Over the course of the years, personally, I don't like what E3 has become, and that's just from back in the day during our high school time, because that's when I used to
I remember that,
be there for E3. But E3 used to seem like a very exclusive event. Like there was only select members of the press that were invited to E3 to do stuff like that. So I always
had to watch it on G4 or read articles about it afterwards, and there was no such thing as YouTube for us.
Yeah, it was literally only like people within that space, journalism, all that stuff. Maybe some popular YouTubers.
There was no YouTubers for us.
Yeah, but back then, that was the starting.
Popular competitive gamers. Yeah, like the beginning. Yeah, I know what you mean. Sorry.
Yeah. So it's just like, you had to actually receive an invite to go there. But over the course of the past several years, they kind of commercialized it and they opened it up to the public. So you could just literally go online and buy a ticket. And I kind of felt like that changed a lot about E3 and what it was or what it stood for at the time. So it just seemed like, hey, show up to this event, buy it, and do all that stuff. But at the same time, it's not like Sony, Microsoft, and all these people ever got cut of that money, because E3 was literally just like kind of the show floor. But Sony, Microsoft, and all the big other players, Nintendo, if they decided to show up, that was their own production. They were putting money forward to make that setup happen, or whatever time. So when it came to E3 as a whole, we only had the people who were running like that production floor that was E3. They were the ones making the money. Like Microsoft and all the other people just never got a cut of that money. So it just seemed like once they started opening up to the public, and you started to, get more revenue coming in, and they weren't seeing any part of that revenue. Just like, what's the point? And especially since COVID happened, and E3 was shut down for past 3 years because of COVID. And it just seemed like, hey, everybody just decided, hey, we could do this remote, and they started to see the success of what we're doing. Nintendo was already at the forefront of doing with the Nintendo Direct.
No, Nintendo copied for somebody else.
What, Apple?
I have to say though, if you think about it, Apple was really the one who started that whole remote conference thing, whatever, right? And then like I could do it at home. I don't have to rent out an event, even though Apple was doing it in their own Steve Jobs theater. But like for everybody else, and then like you said, they didn't have to go to E3. They didn't have to cram everything in June, get everything prepared. You can release it on your own schedule, like now. But and then E3, it always felt like it was a funny thing because when the game drops out on E3, and then when it comes out, it's like, what the fuck happened to the game? Like they're rushing it, they try to make it look good just for presentation purposes, and then when the game really comes out, it's like, what the fuck happened? A lot of quality issues, in my opinion, just failed on that point. But with Apple doing that whole stuff of, hey, I can do it at home, and then like you said, Nintendo started, it's like, let's just do this at home at this point. We could just release it on our own time. We can make it our own event, have it a whole nice thing, have everybody watch it on a certain day whenever we feel like it, and control it. Not control it, but I guess control the release schedule, control when we want to tell you things, and just have it local, I guess. There was no need to pay money, ship all the stuff to over there. You might even get imagine you sending something, it's like, oh, I didn't want to release it, and then it get leaked anyway. It's like, fuck, if I would have did this at home, this would have never happened.
That's Assassin's Creed. Like literally every Assassin's Creed game has been leaked, some way, somehow. Somehow.
That's a tactic at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm believing. Like it'd be the most randomest ways. Like, oh, my guy was working on the plane and he happened to have the folder open and somebody took a picture of it.
Yeah,
that was what happened one time.
He's flying like coach or something, and just some random person like, yo, you look familiar. Assassin's Creed. He probably was like, hey, take a picture of this, man. It looks interesting. I'm a developer for Assassin's Creed. Oh yeah, for real? Yeah. He probably started a conversation like, hey, what do you do? He's like, leaving the book out, like, hey, take a picture. He'd be like, you got Twitter? Yeah. Oh, okay. Just asking. What's the other event? I feel like there was another one besides E3.
Well, there's other events that still happen. There's Gamescom, but that's in Germany. That usually takes place. What's the other one? What's the other big one? There's another big one. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Gaming.
You about to find it out.
I don't know. I just see cons. Okay, wait, hold on. This is some game rant. They might give me something. No. QuakeCon. No, nobody does that. What E3? Okay, wow, it's number 12. Is it PAX?
Yes, PAX. Yep.
That's actually number 10, 11 on the list. We got EGX, DreamHack, Comic-Con. I wouldn't really say as a convention for gaming. I think it's like everything convention.
They're like, depending on the Comic-Con, they do bring games there.
Tokyo Game Show.
That's another one.
That's a big one. And like you said, Gamescom. I think that's the first one you mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah. You think it's done for everybody?
No. Those other ones are still successful and still going. It's just E3 in particular. Like everybody still shows up to PAX. Everybody still shows up to Gamescom, but E3 specifically just seems like the one that's fallen by the wayside.
You think with this whole thing, you think Xbox will finally take over? The conversation like people always saying like, oh, PlayStation, like, the device itself is better than the Xbox. You think with this acquisition and what Xbox is trying to do with their whole Game Pass, the cloud, you going with PC back and forth and etc. Just
well, if we're gonna be transparent here, I still don't think that this it helps them catch up to Sony, but I don't think this helps them overtake it, because even still, Xbox still has to put up games to go with these. Like, they've bought so many studios over the past couple of years, but they still haven't really had fruits of that labor yet. Like, I think the biggest release right now upcoming is Redfall. which is one of the Bethesda studio
Yeah, I'm
game.
hearing that. Yep.
And then you got Starfield follow right after that, which is the really big one everybody seems hype about. So it's kind of like we got to see what those look like before we kind of make a judgment on what that may or may not do. But in the case of Sony, yeah, they do make all these plays and stuff, but they have those exclusives to go with it. They got games that you will want to play. You got Spider-Man 2 eventually coming out. Rumor is that that's supposed to somehow drop in September.
Wow, that's pretty soon with like
Yeah,
no type of promotion or anything.
it's a rumor. Like they say that the promotion cycle is supposed to start in June. And that's according to a voice actor in the game that this was supposed to
Who,
happen.
Sasuke?
I don't know. I don't know which. I don't think this voice actor was actually named, but that was
I was
the
saying
rumor.
Sasuke is Yuri Lorenthal, whatever his name is.
So it's just
Peter
like
Parker.
it's just like with that. Yeah, they got God of War, got Horizon, got all these games over there that you will want to play that you got to pick up PlayStation for.
Okay, but those are one and done type of games. Even if you get all the trophies, you're not going back.
Yeah, but even so, the games that's kind of I want to believe what you're talking about. It's not like it's owned by Microsoft or owned by Sony. Like Call of Duty, yeah, it will be owned by Microsoft, but that doesn't really like change the landscape of competition. Like I said, it makes it closer, I guess, in terms of revenue and stuff. Seeing as how Microsoft was going to be owning the most popular game on Earth, basically. But
do you think that because PlayStation is cheaper than Xbox, that's kind of part of the draw? Why people gravitate towards that?
Can't even say it's cheaper than Xbox.
Isn't $100 cheaper?
Nah, well, I mean, if you do a discless one, but then if you want to even undercut that argument further, you got the Series S, which is $200 cheaper than both of them, or $200 than the big one, and $100 cheaper than the next one.
Okay, so I guess that argument can no longer be used because you have options. I just see it like I wonder what people find to be the most, I guess, gratifying way of saying, like, when you're playing competitive, like, oh, I beat you on this device, on the PlayStation or the Xbox device. Like, what when we're sitting here and we're getting to, these competitions, what's everybody using? What's their preference? I think that's what's kind of might help the battle, so to speak.
Like you have your keyboard and mouse community, obviously, but when it comes to like consoles, like the most things that's going to drive a console is what games do they have? If they're aside from multiplayer, most people would just say, hey, this controller feels more comfortable in my hand. Most people would just say they believe something works better than the other platform. So, I mean, that's as far as it really goes. It's kind of like I said, it's hard to say like in Microsoft's case because they have all these really well-known studios, but they really don't have the fruits of that labor. And it seems like even with all these studios, it's kind of hard to see what's coming down the pipeline because it seems like games keep getting canceled or something about the way Microsoft is running all these studios doesn't seem to be just like fitting right. So I feel like something's going wrong because even like Halo Infinite isn't
what?
Isn't one
what?
of the isn't a good game. So
yeah, the multiplayer. I think they still trying to do their battle royale. I think I was reading something from the developer saying that that's still in progress. They still plan on releasing that, even though all you have is really multiplayer and I guess campaign. But at that point, no one's really rocking Halo.
Yeah, it's like Halo at its core. The multiplayer was a fun experience, but like Forge didn't launch with it, and on top of that, they had a battle pass that was ass, and it's still ass. I think we're in season 3 of it right now, and it doesn't really drive reason for me to want to come back. So it's not like they do a lot to make me go, hey, I want to come back and play Halo. It's not like they like it takes 3-4 months to for when that's gonna be a update, and that update is to balance out guns, and then I gotta wait for you to do that again. Versus like Call of Duty, you might get something every other week in terms of balancing stuff out. Maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe it's everybody. Hey, yo, the way this is functioning, they'll jump in. Hey, hop this up. They'll do a playlist. They incentivize you to come back. So
My take on there's a console war. Well, and I'll just end it there. I feel like give it like 5-10 years. I feel like Microsoft would win the battle, only because of the things they have to offer. That whole Game Pass, and like people who are already PC gamers, is kind of just an easy thing just to move over if you really wanted to get the Game Pass. Compared to PlayStation, like if you have a PC, you can't really play PlayStation games on PC. So I don't know. I just feel like it's a easier transition.
Try to think of it like this too. Like Microsoft is trying to transcend the console. Like they're trying to be above that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, I just feel like they're gonna win because of all the stuff that they at least potentially have going. Like what is Microsoft has when it comes to cloud? Their top three, the Azure. What does Sony have? They're gonna use another platform. They're gonna use Amazon's AWS. What they don't have anything. And from what you told me, that PlayStation Now or whatever the thing is called,
it's in a way better place than when the time I was complaining about it.
But it's still not competing up to when it comes to Xbox.
It is also my opinion that no cloud gaming is good. So I'll say it like that.
For now,
no cloud gaming is superb. No cloud gaming is the way that I would like it to be.
But that's not even a hardware issue. That's an internet issue. That's a bandwidth issue.
Yeah, it's just like I just feel no matter where I cloud game, I just don't like the delayed input that's there, all that stuff. Like it depends on the game we're talking about. Like I'll play a single player game on the cloud, but I'll never play something like a multiplayer on the cloud because there's always some type of input lag. Not like it's serious, but it's always an input lag there, and that's just what it is. It's not that somebody's doing something wrong, all that. It's just that's how it is.
I feel like when they get something like a server base closer to your location with everybody, and they just kind of synchronize it, or just like everybody has like certain caching, so that lag would kind of be avoided. I think that would be great, especially like could you imagine like just sitting on your toilet? Let me pop out I want to play a quick Call of Duty match real quick. Take out your iPhone, your Android, get the controller, a little quick 4-minute match right there. If the lag was great, depending with the 5G, Wi-Fi, or Wi-Fi 6, 6E, etc. Or by the time they fix it, being Wi-Fi 8, who knows what the lettering will be? But
yeah, but like even now, allegedly Google Stadia did it the best. I never played on Stadia, but Google Stadia did it the best.
Joncho, you smoking something today, bro? What
Stadia? Stadia. The problem with Stadia,
a horrible fail.
No, Stadia was a horrible fail, but it wasn't because of the cloud gaming. It's because of everything else. Everything. Yeah. They were charging more than everybody else were for games. You didn't own those games. You just basically renting them. And all that stuff. But in terms of the actual cloud experience, everybody said it was A1. Everybody said, hey, this cloud experience is amazing. It's probably the best out there. Stadia's failing had nothing to do with the cloud gaming. It had more to do with all of its other offerings that went with it.
Reading an article from Google about Google, anytime they drop something like Stadia, Google Meet, out of the Google many, Lens. That one's actually still active because they just incorporated that into Google itself. But out of the many apps that they have, I was reading an article that says that they incentivize that. Just make something, get it out. I don't care if it fails or if it's successful. If it's successful, hey, we use it. But if it's just do something with it, and that person gets a major bonus. And that's why there's so many apps. So I feel like when the Stadia one, somebody was like, yo, let's do this. Let's use Google's fucking cloud system. It's top of the line. It's number one in the world. Let's just do it. When it came out, I was like, it's great. But it's like,
but it's crazy because like Google Stadia's example showed like how hard it is just to enter the console space because it's basically just Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. So
yeah. Steam's coming in.
Like Steam is there.
Steam is
That's PC. Yeah, but Steam is PC basically. Like that's what Steam is. So.
But it's not Microsoft. So
no, it's not. It's not Microsoft. It's just
it's
PC,
Linux, I guess.
PC gaming is mostly Steam. You got everybody else who may have their own launchers and shit like that. When it comes to PC gaming, Steam is mostly that's kind of like the go-to in that space.
You know, Nintendo, for all it's worth, has been the most versatile. Has been the one who has made the most evolution. Has evolved because I said it twice. They go from a console at home to your hand. Isn't that crazy? You got the DS. I'm not sure that's still a thing, but you know the Switch. Before it was a Wii at home, plug it into your wall, play. But now you got a Switch. You know, like I just feel like.
You know,
sooner or later they're gonna just kill it.
You know what's mind blowing? That Nintendo is, I think it sells. It's probably like top 2 between Sony and Nintendo, but in terms of like games, they're the most profitable gaming console that doesn't sell Call of Duty.
Like, but I mean, their IP is ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, but it's funny because the argument became going back to the
Sony,
case,
Microsoft, yeah.
Sony saying that if you took Call of Duty away from us, there's no way we could be profitable. And Microsoft was like, look at Nintendo. They don't have Call of Duty at all, and they've been doing just fine. So what you saying?
And with the whole movie that came out, they're gonna somehow, somewhere, it's gonna just correlate to a boost in sales for Mario games, the device itself, Smash Brothers, man, Mario, Sonic, I guess Kirby, Zelda. Yo, that Zelda game, bro. I saw like some gameplay of it. And I'm like, this is on a Switch? It's fucking crazy. On a Switch. I still can't. I think kids nowadays, they're not going to understand what I'm coming from, but I can't wrap my head around something so immersive, massive, in a handheld device that can stay alive for multiple hours. And you can just take it with you anywhere compared to staying home and playing a console and just having it. Because like, we had the PSP. It was great at the time. The Vita was trash. You know, it should have left at the PSP, in my opinion. The hard disk, not the software stuff. And then the DS was also amazing, but it was small games. It wasn't it wasn't what we see now. And then the Switch comes out, and they still refine the Switch, and you get all the Zelda games. What was a Mario game that came out that was also pretty good? I own it. I don't remember the name of it.
I think it was Odyssey.
I wanted to say Odyssey, but I was like, but even that is like as impressive. I just, like I said, I just can't wrap my head on something just holding my hand. You know, you're thinking it has to be something massive, a fucking brick to play these games, and it's like, nah, it's not 4K, it's 1080, and it looks beautiful. 720. It looks amazing. The controls feels
and see, that's part of the reason. That's part of the reason why Call of Duty is not on Switch, because it can't handle that. But Nintendo in-house, all the games they make in-house, and we don't need all that horsepower to make the games we make. All right.
And then they had that whole system. I was on it like a couple months ago. The old games, you pay like one price and you can play all these old games, all of them.
Some of us do other things, but that's a different time.
I understand. We're talking about the consumers who use the Nintendo Switch, John. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the other day I bought Ace Attorney Chronicles. Like I was having the time of my life playing that game. I think that's Game Boy Advance games.
Mm-hmm.
Just I think it was $15 for I think it's 3 games altogether.
And look at this, bro. Microsoft, another move for Nintendo. Mario games on Nintendo Switch are $20 off to keep the movie hype going. Come on, that's prime marketing right there.
There's always gonna be like a Pokemon show / movie coming out to discount. That's what the one thing I hate about Nintendo is that they take forever to discount a game. Like the first Breath of the Wild is still freaking $60, and that's the only reason why I ain't never buy it.
I
Keep
think it
saying
was
y'all want
40
to
at
buy it.
one point.
Yeah, like, because there's a
40.
sale. It's like is that one time they have it on sale and you miss it.
That's like the Pokemon games. It's like I'm not paying for that's one thing I hate about Pokemon games. Like now, it's like I'm not paying for a half-ass Pokemon game that you're gonna give me more for DLC later on, or I only get like 100 Pokemon when I know there's 4,000 out there. Come on, you can. They can make. Could you imagine Skyrim but for Pokemon? And just put them all there. Put all the Pokemon, all the legendaries.
And I think it's finally backfired on them with the last Pokemon game, because I think that
Arceus
was,
or
yeah, I think that was
Arius,
really
whatever.
trash, and it was like
Arceus.
it's time to finally update the
roster?
mechanics. Not the roster, the mechanics, how Pokemon games works, because they've stuck to it for so long, and I think people are finally fed up with it.
Honestly, when that game came out, I think it was Arceus or the Pikachu one. It looked great because I thought, okay, this is like, like when it comes to the iPhones, this is, the beta, the first one coming out. Like, let's work out the kinks. Open world, you can see the Pokemon in the grass or whatever. But when I saw how empty it was, I said, this is not, it's great in practice. It's a great draft, but there's more you can do with this. And then they dropped Arceus, and I was like, wait. This is the same game, but now you just add a couple things here and there and calling it a $60 game. No, this is why it failed. And then like, we're going to give you DLC for $20 more. No, this is also why it failed. This is not the way to go. I don't know.
That's the thing about open world games for me. I hate open world games that feel so empty, and I hate open world games that have too much to do. Like I hate Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I hate what Assassin's Creed has become. Valhalla.
I hate all of them.
Odyssey. Because I just feel like I open the game and there's like a million different things you can do, and it's just like you'll probably end up in those random things for like 4 hours before you get back to the main story, and I hate it. Like I know I'm not even gonna say divisive, but Red Dead Redemption 2, the way that game was perfect for me. Like, it's not like the map, you open the map, it's not telling you like there's 100 different things to do. It's like, no, this is where your bar is, this is where you get your, you want to get a haircut, you want to buy a horse, so you need to know. Now the random things that happen in the world,
it pops up.
Yeah, it just pops up. That's it. And, they just happen from time to time. You just got, hey, if you want to just go to your main mission, you go do that too. Freaking another game, Ubisoft in these games. Far Cry. You open up a Far Cry map, it's like there's things on top of other things to do, and you got to decipher which one of those things you actually trying to get to in those things. And I'm like, I can't do this, man. Like, it's too much for me.
As beautiful as Skyrim was, there was a lot of like caverns and certain things. Like, there's too much lore. I'm not gonna sit here and read all this. Granted, whoever did all that and thought about it, God bless you. But it just felt like every time you go, like, you started on one like cave, you're like, there's another. Like, if I turn left here, it's like another 4 hours. But if I turn right here, I end it. Like, they did the main mission great, because you can end the main mission very fast. You can do all that. But when it comes to the side stuff, it's like, oh my God! And just in that small area, like you said, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of things to do in that small. It might be fast, it might be small, but it's just that. It just keeps on. Like, it's you gotta get that perfect balance of open world. A lot of things should just be free reign and have fun, but not necessarily need to be like a side quest attached to it. Like Grand Theft Auto, in a way. Like, it's a lot of things you can do in there, but you don't necessarily need to do it to enjoy the game. And there's a lot of
it never feels overwhelming.
It never did, and it's like, I don't need to do that. And like the free roam, you travel everywhere and you're just finding nice things. Like in Red Dead, like you mentioned, I remember I found like Tesla's freaking house and everything. I was like, this is not a quest. Maybe it is later on, but it's nice that they just added that. I was like, oh, this is cool. It's just cool. It wasn't like I need to do this X, Y, and Z to access it. It's just like, just go in there, see what they did, appreciate what the developers did, and just keep it moving. That's it.
It's like nowadays it's like they take open world to the extreme for some games, and I'm not for it.
Like there's a immersive, yeah, but not too immersive. Like I'm not playing VR here.
Mm-hmm. Like,
I don't
like
need
I
to.
get, like, like I feel like God of War is another like perfect game, like the new God of War series. If you have, you these open hubs, and you have the option to go do more exploring to find more stuff, but it's not vital. It's not a day saying, "Yo, go do this." It's like, no, no, no. If you want to just play this story, go ahead. There's other things you can find out in the world if you choose to explore, but it's not necessary. Don't worry about it.
In true Jon and Joe fashion, I'm always gonna call that when it's just you and I. Um, do you see the Lakers? Do you see the script? You see the script working for them now? Do you see it? Come on. Rudy Gobert is injured. Suspended. This other dude injured. Now we got the Clippers. Paul George is out. Like the whole West just seems weaker all the time.
The Wild Wild West.
It's not even the Wild Wild West anymore. It's just like the tame West. And I'm like, wait. How is all these things working out for the Lakers? In my opinion, just looking at it all, like people just randomly getting injured now.
Wow.
Rudy Gobert want to hit his teammate at the last game of the season.
I ain't wanna expose myself on the podcast, but I've been having the scripts all year. This is going according to plan, man.
And you couldn't tell me so I can go on FanDuel or the other ones.
When I talked to the NBA, we came to an agreement, so I just can't be announcing that. But since the season is officially over, I didn't get the playoff scripts yet. I'm still waiting for those to come in the fax machine. So,
Okay, so this regular season, is all according to plan.
So far, I can't announce any awards yet, but all I'm gonna tell you is Jokic is not winning any. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Embiid? You think Embiid's winning?
I can't reveal my sources, man. You're gonna get me in trouble, all right?
Oh, okay. You don't have to say anything.
Now, if you want what I think, I think Embiid is gonna win.
Because he's also the scoring title.
Not even. I just don't think Jokic deserves it. I mean, yeah, his numbers is nice.
Whoa, but who Jokic is playing with, bro? Who else? Embiid got a squad.
A squad of who? Injured people.
He got James Harden on the team,
who's been on and off the roster all year.
But he is still a superstar.
He is.
He is also an MVP.
He is.
What MVP is on the Nuggets or superstar on the Nuggets? Because Jamal Murray does not count because he was a write-in.
He ain't been playing as an MVP, and he ain't been playing as a superstar. So,
who?
James Harden.
It doesn't matter. The potential
is
there.
Yes,
the potential is there for him to explode.
He ain't been that dude for like 3 years now.
I don't care. He can still become that dude. Like Derrick Rose, when he scored that 50 plus, he can always become that player. Just give him the right. Look at Haslam. He scored 24 in his last game.
That's because they was like, we're not gonna play defense. That's why there's like,
I don't want to hear that.
We're not gonna play no defense.
So you telling me Kobe scoring 60 in his last game? That was no defense. Oh, it's just Kobe.
Yeah, because they was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go hard. It's Kobe. Like they was like, I'm not trying to injure him. Like
he was retiring. You gotta injure him at this point.
He was on the floor. He was like, yo, we agreed you was dropping 30, not 60, man. Like, come on.
Oh my god! Yeah, I love. Did you get my line when you said trust the process?
Mm-hmm.
No Ben Simmons though. Who
Ski mask and all.
Somebody wrote to him saying, "Listen, I think it was Garnett saying I need you to just find something. Find your love for the game again. You have so much to give." I think it was Garnett. I feel like it was Kevin. Ah, man. There was something.
I believe it was Kevin Garnett.
It was, right?
Yep.
Like, go on a sabbatical or something. You have so much to get. I don't understand. This guy is what is he, 6'8"? No, he's 6'10". All that height you want to waste? Give that shit to. Man, these fucking entitled players out here, man. I'm sorry.
Right, he don't need to improve his game. According to some people, he could be the same player he is for all his life. Because you will be a professional basketball player and don't improve your game. You're out here playing basketball, and you're gonna say a stupid statement like that. I don't care if you post this. I don't care if he see it. I'm saying it.
I'm posting this.
You was dumb. That's a dumb statement. I don't care. We can argue over it day and night.
I'm tagging them too.
If you sitting there coaching people, telling them that you don't need to improve their game in any aspect, that is dumb. I don't care. You're not going to be a rookie or 20. How old is Ben Simmons? Like 25 right now?
He's 26.
My man can't shoot a jump shot to save his damn life. Come on.
Turning 27.
At least minimum you can do is improve your free throw games. Like, come on. Joel Embiid is in the lab improving his free throws. You telling me Ben Simmons can't? Come
Marquez Fultz reworked his entire jump shot. And he can shoot. Lonzo Ball is considered a threat in its corner threes.
But we can't talk about Lonzo Ball because he's not a better player than Ben Simmons. Shut up. Kill yourself.
Lonzo Ball is a better player. Lonzo Ball is a way, but I'll take Lonzo over Ben Simmons any other week. I'm getting the same type of production when it comes to assists, rebounds, and scoring, and I'm getting way more effort and a better team chemistry than I'm getting with Ben Simmons.
I take Lonzo Ball injured right now over Ben Simmons. I take Allen Iverson right now over Ben Simmons.
Wait, I'm trying.
I'll take Michael Jordan right now over Ben Simmons.
I'll take Michael B. Jordan.
I will take Shaq right now off the desk, fresh off the desk.
Come on. Use active players like Fred VanVleet. I'll take Fred VanVleet.
Active players? Yeah, I'll take OJ Mayo over Ben Simmons.
Well, you already got Kyle Lowry.
I'll take Kyle Lowry over Ben Simmons.
First of all, OJ Mayo's technically not active just because he can come back.
He's playing across in another country. I
understand. Active. I understand he can come back because they kind of whatever thing went away, but no. Remember when him and Rudy Gay was like, yo, these are like some top people. They might be somebody great, at least as shooters. And it's like, where I went.
I take Rudy Gobert over Ben Simmons.
I take Kyle Anderson.
The most fraudest defensive player of the year ever.
Didn't he win one over LeBron? He
won like 3 in a row.
But he won one over LeBron, right? Or that was somebody else who won defensive player of the year? That 1 year LeBron almost won. It was 2013, I think it was. Was it against Rudy?
It might have been.
I don't understand. What are they looking into advanced like stats when it comes to him?
It has to be because ain't nobody scared of him.
Yeah. I feel like if he's just standing there and the person who's gonna just like drive and decides to pass because he's there and somebody else is like, oh, let's add a +5 to his plus minus just because the opposing player passed. It's like Rudy is what he weighs 170 wet. You know what I mean? Like. I mean, probably like 210.
He's just tall. He's just tall.
Why? Like, yo,
he's tall. He looks good playing defense. That's what it is.
He's fundamental, but he can't fucking score.
It's not that he actually plays defense. It's that he looks good playing defense.
You seen that unlook star that's coming out in OKC? Wait, is he in the OKC or is he? Oh my God, what's this kid's name? No, I think he plays for the Grizzlies. My God. Kenneth Lofton Jr. scored 42, 68% from the field.
Oh, he was at OKC.
OKC, yeah. My man, they're talking like the second Zach Randolph. That dude. Here it is. He scored 40 minutes, 42 points, 17 shots out of 25, 14 rebounds, and that's it. Everything else is like, I'm not going to count it. Yeah, it was like 1 steal. Come on. What the fuck? No, but, yo, they gave him an opportunity. I also want to think it was the last game of the season, blah, 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 blah. But that's not bad, bro. You still got to make them shots. He was looking pretty good. He's looking pretty good. So, your predictions without any like you being a fan from Miami. Who's winning the West? Who's winning the East? If it's really the Heat, I want you to be objective. If you really feel the Heat has the best chance of winning out of the East, then say it, and I want you to give me a reason why.
Where did Heat sit right now?
I think they sit 6. No, they end up playing, so I think they're
number 7.
I'm gonna check right now, cause I know They are in the play-in. The Heat are technically they're 7th right now.
All I'm gonna say is Boston don't want to see Miami. That's it. Boston don't want to see Miami around one.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying about that. Because Boston will get their ass handed to them with the way they've been playing this year. Miami, Jimmy Butler's on a mission. I ain't saying we going to the finals, but Boston don't want to see Miami.
So Jimmy shut down Tatum.
Even if we get eliminated, we're taking a pound of flesh off of him.
But he's D'ing up Tatum. Who got
shut him down?
Who got Brown?
That's probably going to be a combined effort.
You see what I mean?
We're gonna get Haslam out there.
You think what's his Haslam retired?
Because perimeter D wise, I don't know. Miami is the most weirdest team ever. Like they have these eves and flows. Like they have one week when they look like the second coming of the Golden State Warriors, and then they have another week where it's like, what is going on? But their
who's
defense
showing threes on their team?
Yeah, like the past couple weeks, I think they was like number one over the past 3 weeks. They're number one in the league on 3-point shooting. It's crazy. I don't understand how it happens, but it just happens. Like even last year, I think we were like a top team in 3-point shooting, but in the playoffs, we wasn't making a three to save our lives.
Well, when the playoffs comes, the plans change, and they're like, "Yo, I need to leave Jimmy open."
Up,
Yeah, every shot just hits hard. Every time you shot a brick, it hits.
We ain't even gonna say like the problem with last year was Jimmy Butler decided he wanted to be Steph Curry when he should have just been Chris Paul. That's the problem.
Or Cliff Paul.
I mean, tried to run and pull up from three for what? You was knocking down every single 2-point mid-range shot you was taking that game, and you decided to pull up from three. Why?
That's another thing that I feel is lost. The art of the 2-point shot. The art, the mastery of it. I think Kyle, DeRozan is like the only person who kind of like really exemplifies.
And that. Kyrie be cooking people. Like, when Kyrie is on,
Kyrie's different though. Is that Kyrie doesn't stick on that. He can shoot threes though. Like,
yeah, but
DeRozan and Kyrie 3-point shot, even if it's not the game online, just a wide open three, I'm giving the Kyrie over DeRozan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like I have a better, even without him making that shot against Golden State, Kyrie's a better 3-point shooter than DeRozan.
Yeah, but if when you have those moments where Kyrie's in his bag, and just. Getting people off their feet, breaking ankles and pull up from mid-range, he be killing. Especially when he be hitting that fadeaway sometimes.
Yeah, that spin fadeaway where he does off. He kind of
he's a better all-around shooter than most people,
left.
But he definitely lethal from mid.
100%. It's nasty with it, and I don't know, but yeah, Jimmy. I don't know. I never saw. I still don't. This is me personal. I don't see Jimmy as that franchise star. I feel like he needs that other ball handler person to just really help him get over the top. Even if Jimmy sits on the bench and then the other person takes over, like if Kyrie would have went over there, that would have been very interesting. Kick out Kyle Lowry, put Kyrie over there. That would have been crazy.
I don't understand what you mean by if Kyrie would have. Kyrie is coming. So let's
I don't know. He might stay in Dallas, bro.
He ain't staying in Dallas. He gonna be like Miami, Jimmy Butler. I got this.
But I would see Kyrie in a Laker jersey, then I would see Kyrie in a Heat jersey.
Look, Luka out here already like shifting blame to Kyrie, and not even Kyrie's fault.
No, I the last thing I saw about Luka
out here talking about I wish I was still playing with Jalen Brunson. I'm depressed. I don't enjoy playing basketball no more.
I heard that. Didn't you tell me someone was his mom or some shit?
Yeah, that's like I said, that's not. I'm not going to confirm that. That's what was said on live television. So I have to see what. I have to believe there's some credence to it. It was only said one time. I've only seen it come out of one person's mouth. I ain't seen no online internet articles about it or anything. But because it was said on national television, I have to believe there's some credence to it.
I don't know, man. You have one of the greatest owners, at least someone who listens to you and tries to make things accommodating.
All right, let's leave. Let's kill that. Let's kill that right now. Mark Cuban is not a great owner. All right. I'm willing to have that argument right now.
Okay, let's have an argument. Why not?
Who he put around Luka?
I'm not saying that.
This is part of ownership. This is part of ownership. Who
but that's not his, Luka? But that's not his job, though. He's not the GM.
It's his team, right?
Yeah,
he got to sign the checks at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, but the president is the one. The president, the GM, is the one who tells him,
he can override all of that.
Of course he can, but he's not that. He hires these people to do these things.
No, if he was that dude, he'd be like, all right, this is the people we gonna get. We're gonna put money up. He didn't want to pay Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson wanted money.
So first of all, I'm not paying Jalen Brunson.
First of all, when he made good moves, right? When they traded for Kyrie, Mark Cuban got all the credit, but when they let Jason Brunson go, he deferred all the blame to the president.
That's fucked up, though. Yeah, that's fucked up. You're right about that.
I'm not saying you specifically.
I know. I think maybe he doesn't want to do a
but even so, Tony. I'm not gonna say the same question. Who he put around Luka? Even if we're gonna say nobody around Luka, who he put around Dirk? Dirk ain't never had a superstar win.
Okay, but he won a chip.
He did. He won a chip on his back. He never had a superstar to go with him.
But he gave him.
He had a good supporting cast. Yeah, he had a good supporting cast.
That's how you win sometimes.
Yeah, but they play. But they play defense and they play offense. Like
and
that.
Who they
those
beat?
Teams like that.
The greatest team supposedly.
Teams like that come together. Teams like that are, hey, it happens every once in a while. You get that one star player with perfect role players. It does not happen often. But in today's NBA, you need at least 2 superstars. You got Kyrie and Luka. In my opinion, they're not really a good fit. But that is neither the fault of Kyrie or Luka. I just feel like their games are too similar for them to work together. So,
I mean,
I feel like they both need the ball.
They can't both be on the field at the same time. You got to make 2 separate teams for both of them, like the bench for Kyrie or starting for Kyrie or whatever, because you can't have them both on the same.
Yeah, but see, like in closing time, it's just like Kyrie is. It seems like it's gonna be Kyrie, but Luka has been doing his work.
Luka's clutch as well. It's kind of hard. It's like Steph or Klay Thompson.
That's Steph.
I know that, but Klay
that's clear. That's a clear cut.
This shot though.
But if Klay is hot on fire, of course we're gonna go with Klay. But if you told me fourth quarter, I'm going with Steph every single time.
If they're both hot, who you going with?
I'm going with Steph. Unquestionably, every single time. I'm going with KD. Unquestionably, every single time.
I'm just saying it's hard. Sometimes it's hard.
It's not that hard.
I don't. You have a point. I think I will go with Luka. Kyrie kind of. I don't know. Kyrie has the chip. He has the record. He makes clutch shots, but Luka also makes it. But he hasn't got over at least to the finals, or he just touched the Western Conference Finals. 2 years ago?
Yeah, but he ain't got nobody. He has nobody to help him.
Okay, going back to your argument with the, I'm referring to when it comes to player and management relations. You're right. Who did he give him? He gave him nobody. But when you're in the Dallas,
we're talking about Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban, right? Yes, Mark Cuban. Lucas is the franchise star. He's the next. He should see like whatever treatment they giving Dirk. They're gonna give me that, especially if I get a chip or at least get one chip.
That's nice to know, but if you ain't giving me a player to help me get to the promised land,
I understand that, but I'm just trying to say as a player, so if you want to play with management that works with you, so you feel happy, you feel chemistry, and you feel great. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Could you imagine if Dan Gilbert was not a fucking dick to LeBron James? Would he have left? You know what I mean? That's management right there. Dan Gilbert gave LeBron everything he needed with what's this guy David Griffin. He traded everybody he want. Oh, you getting Iman? Give me JR too. Give me all these. Oh, pay my niggas. Pay Tristan. Pay JR. He did everything LeBron wanted. You know what I mean? He gave him the tools he wanted. He still left. That's not good. I could give you all you want.
Yeah, but that's because that team fell apart though. Like it's not even about giving like Luka specifically what he wants. It's putting something with Luka. Like
but Luka Luka's on the team. Something Luka, around like
build me a team. Build me a team. Like that's what it is. Like pay somebody to come with me. right? If all these free agents come in available, Dallas's name is never attached to anybody, and it seems like they don't want to pay anybody, especially people that they already have under them. They don't want to pay. Again, Jalen Brunson he seemed like he wanted to stay, but they didn't want to give him the money, so he went to New York and got that money.
Jalen wanted too much, though, in my opinion. I didn't feel like Jalen was that great of a star.
With the way he balling for the Knicks right now, you give him what he wants.
Okay, John, it's the same conversation we had many times ago about you give the player the ball, is he scoring or not? Like Jalen Brunson, was he getting the ball with Luka? Luka just fucking... The usage rate with Luka is... nobody can... What is he, averaging, 40 minutes with the ball every day? You know what I mean? Like, of course he's going to average more points than another team.
Yeah, but it's perfect pairing, like how Clay and Steph are perfect pairing, because neither one of them is a dominant personality. That's how Jalen Brunson is. If you need him to go ball out or do something, I need you to score for me right now, he gonna go do that. But he's not the type of person like, yo, I need the ball. I want to be a superstar too. That's not his demeanor.
Well, I guess Mark Cuban or the president saw like, hey, how far we got last year with Brunson? Western Conference Finals. I need something better.
They ain't get nothing better.
Yeah, I mean, no, they got Spencer Dinwiddie at that point.
No, you gotta think of it as fucking the other fucking way around. They had Spencer Dinwiddie when fucking Jalen Brunson was there. They held on to him.
Yeah, they didn't. But they got him back though. I'm trying to say they got him back.
Yeah, but they didn't improve the team.
Oh yeah, you're right. They traded Kyrie for Spencer. Duh.
Yeah, that's what you gotta freaking. Like in Luka's case with Dallas, like I believe in the next 2 years, Luka's most likely going to request a trade from Dallas if the things don't change.
He just said he's happy today.
Like, come on, everybody say they happy until they not. Like, come on.
Yeah.
He could be in the camera, so I'm happy with the. And I still don't believe he happy.
So, do you think the Bucks are doing it right?
Yes, I think the Bucks are doing it right.
I saw
you got Giannis, you got Giannis, and then Chris Middleton was there too, and Chris Middleton again they play perfect together because Giannis, the skills that Giannis don't have, Chris Middleton does have, and then you build the team around that, which seems to be a primarily defensive focused team.
Your defense front, which is Holiday, which he's very underrated. Like his defense is nasty. That's if you watch his defensive highlights when they won the chip, he was doing things that you can't even look at the stats for.
Like I don't care what anybody says. I think Giannis is the hardest worker in the NBA.
100. Wow, I'm surprised you didn't say like Jimmy Butler because I thought Jimmy would have.
No.
As you being a fan and stuff.
You gotta think Giannis came in the league looking like Steve Urkel, and now he out here looking like Stephon.
He's looking like Michael B. Jordan in Creed 3, baby. Going against Kang the Conqueror over here. Okay. I saw a thing that said, like, why is Giannis' little brother still on the team on the 15th spot? They're like, well, is Giannis leaving? So shut up. This is he cares about family. They're like, fuck, give the brother the 15th spot. Look, fuck.
Haslam got the 15th spot. He didn't play all year until
now. They're like, you got to keep your star player happy. And sometimes maybe that younger brother is the chemistry, or maybe he's the one who keeps. They were like, he keeps Giannis level, because if not, look what happened to John Morant. Maybe if his brother was there, he would. What if it talking with this conversation? But I think Mark Cuban at least 1-1, not basketball, and at least for the players.
I don't think he's Jordan bad. I don't. No.
I'm just saying, like, he gives you the recovery methods. He makes everything comfortable. You gotta. If you suck, you suck. You're out. I get that. If you want to talk about who's the greatest coach that can. Or owner who can do all that, it's Pat Riley, right? Because when LeBron was there, he gave him. He's like, what do I need for LeBron, Wade, and Bosh? Okay, Carlos Arroyo. That doesn't work. Let's try year 2. Okay, Chalmers. I need some wing players. Need some bigs. For rebounding, we suck here. LeBron likes to pass. You got Mike Miller. You got what's the other guy's name? Battier. You know, like it worked out. You know, and he was paying people right. And he was like, I ain't paying you if you think you're gonna be fucking. You know, you ain't getting me out here.
See, like with the Mavericks, I needed two things to happen. I need Luka to get in shape, and I needed to put a team around him.
They said, I think Shaq said that shit. He's becoming the Carmelo Anthony of today's basketball. All score and no defense. Yep. He's not really working on anything besides just score. Like, supposedly he lost weight this season, but now he looks like he gained it back.
Gained it back mid-season?
Yeah, he did the James Harden water weight shit.
It's like Luka offensively, he's the greatest. Right? Okay, I'm wilding. Not the greatest. He's good.
No. He's up there. He's top 15, I guess. I don't know.
He's one of the greatest, but when it comes to defense, is lacking. But in today's NBA, I don't really feel like you need to be a two-way player. That's why we put a team around him. Right?
Well, that's why Paul George is better because he plays well. Before the knee injury, Paul George was that motherfucking nigga. He was a great two-way player, and Klay Thompson as well. Yeah, you don't have those defensive players anymore.
Yeah, but that's like even like in Steph's case, Steph is not the greatest defender, but they do a great job of hiding him.
But then again, Steph doesn't have that. He's what 165 wet. You know what I mean? Like he's always he can't defend anybody. Kyrie destroys him all the time.
Yeah, but that's why, like, you know, even when it comes down to it, they do a good job of hiding him.
Oh yeah, Klay Thompson would take over.
They don't always expose Steph.
Yeah, it's like he runs around the court trying to help. He does a lot of help defense.
My man cardio is impeccable.
Have you seen his workout? Like his shooting workout?
I have not.
Bro, you have to see it. It's very hard. First of all, I think he does, it's like 10 threes. Like, if we're going from the corner, 10 threes, and they get like 5 feet, 10 there, another 5 feet, 10, in a row, just bang, 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 bang. No breather, and if you miss, you start all over again. And like a couple kids, well, not a couple kids, but, you know, other people who was like, I guess G League, they were trying, it was like, yo, this is hard. I'm already out of breath with just the first threes. And his Steph is just like, ding, like it was nothing. I seen another practice. It was like 100 shots. He made like 92 out of 100 threes. And it's like,
I mean, like when he's playing basketball, he never stops moving. Like when he's on the floor, always in motion.
And that's why I felt why the Cavs lost. Well, besides other things, the defense the Cavs had, they just couldn't stop that. Everyone moving around was like, oh, like me as a player, like playing basketball. If you're telling me, yo, you got to guard, I'm Matthew Dellavedova when it comes to fucking NBA. If I'm guarding Steph, I'm guarding Steph. Why these players look around, was like, who's my man? Are we playing zone? 1-3-1? What are we doing? Like, I hate that when I watch basketball games. It's like the obvious. All LeBron James teams does the same shit. Nobody knows how to play defense, and he blames everybody else for it. It's like, bro, come on.
What are you doing? What are you talking about? That's your man.
Oh, but then when he wins, he goes, no.
He'd be like, JR.
Yo, Rikai Kuzma was like, I crown you. Yo, you don't do this. My man, what do you, stop sucking him, bro. Like, no, nobody, not even Wade would do some shit like that. And that's his best friend. And they play on the same team. Not even D Rose, as humble as he is, would be like, he should crown LeBron. No. But I guess we could end that part. I think the Bucks got the East. I just personally think they got it. Either them, and my dark horse is the Cavs. It will always be the Cavs.
76ers is going to the finals.
Yeah, all right. With who? Fucking Aaron Gordon? No,
he's never there. The Scripps.
Oh yeah, you got. Wait, did you just get them? Did you just send it right now? The script?
Ooh, what?
On the West, I want to be biased and say the Lakers, but I don't know, man. Looking at it right now, it might be the Kings might come out of left field, bro. I don't see the Grizzlies.
I don't believe none Kings. Like, Z was telling me I think earlier today talking about I think Kings and Warriors is the first matchup. I'm like, look, I understand the Kings made the playoffs, but that's it. They made the playoffs. Like now they gotta. This is when you show up. And like I understand the Warriors have one of the most weirdest records in basketball, but it's the Warriors. Like I can't sleep on them. I'm not gonna count them out just like that.
I just
And
don't.
Andrew Wiggins is supposed to be coming back.
I didn't know the injury record, so that's why I was still quiet. I didn't know if anybody was like out, like if
And
Clay's back or.
Andrew Wiggins been out for like a good 20 games.
Yeah, I know he's not technically injured. He just
Yeah, he's just
family
been
stuff.
away from the team.
Yeah.
And then you have people they're getting back Gary Payton the second.
I thought he was injured.
He was injured, but he's coming back.
For the finals?
No, for the playoffs.
Oh, oh, look at that! I showed my script hand. Oh, that's weird. 3-6. Oh, that's really how it goes. I felt like it was different this year. All right, man. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, John, you have anything to add before we cap this?
Dude, Gucci.
All right. Well, this was another collab episode of Jon and Joe Words of Wisdom on the Joncast Podcast of the Random Noobs. If you have listened to this far, check out John on his I would say not semi-daily, every other day Resident Evil 4 walkthrough gameplay.
Yes, we are currently three videos deep. Made it to chapter 4. No, chapter. Next video will be the beginning of chapter 5. Just finished chapter 4. Got through the first boss fight. Killed the really big fish. So other than that, we get episodes or videos uploading. Like you said, almost like a every other day type of schedule so far. It's been a couple days because I've been busy, but hopping back on that tomorrow, and there should be an episode, or I don't know what I'm calling it, but another part up probably in the next couple days or so. Last one that went up was earlier today. Everyone is about like an hour and a half long.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Well, his stuff will be in the description. JTro180 for his I believe that's Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And Random Noobs is Random Noobs. Nothing new there. Peace. Now, how do I pause this?